welcome back to the channel. Listen, I know it's been 3 weeks since I've posted, but I've just had some personal stuff to get taken care of. I had to get my blood drawn. I don't like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop into the TBR because I tend to make intros so long for what reason, I don't know. Um But yes, it's a lot of fantasy-ish, more fantasy than anything, because I'm scarred still after Tender is the Flesh. So let's go ahead and get into it. First book that I'm hoping to read during this vlog is a Carissa Broadbent book, and that is going to be the second book in the Nightborn duet. That is going to be Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I did read The Serpent and the Wings of Night back last year during maybe the summer, I think it was. What I did not know about these series is that both of the books, like the actual main books, are not the Six Scorched Roses or the Slain the Vampire Conqueror or something like that. The actual four main books are the first two are the Nightborn duet, and it's focusing on Rain and Oriah, and the last two of the series, or not last two, but the other two of the series, the Shadowborn duet, is focusing on Misha, which we are introduced to in these first two books, and somebody else. Who is that? I don't know. But yes, I'm hoping to get that read. I need to continue the series before the next book drops later this year. I don't know, I'm just I'm so excited for it to be released. I genuinely am, I like the first book, so I mean, I'm having really good hopes. So I'm pretty sure book 2 is going to be pretty good. Next on the list, I do have a Lori Gilmore book, and as you guys know, I am not reading the Dream Harbor series in order because I did not have them in order when I started reading it. I think I read The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore first, and then from there I read The Christmas Tree Farm, and I'm trying to read them in order, but except book 1 and 2 is just flip-flopped. And that is going to be the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I know, it is not fall, but I really want it to be fall because I hate the heat and I hate summer, okay? So I just need to reminisce back into the fall. This is kind of a short book. This is the only romance book in my TBR of this vlog. Fun fact. So there is that, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, that is going to be book 2 on the TBR. Next up, this is a new author for me, just as RF Kuang was. This is also a fantasy book. I've seen this everywhere. I'm pretty sure you've seen this everywhere. But I am very excited. Heard nothing but good things, and that is going to be The Second Death of Locke. Now, it is a little bit thicker than I would think it would be. I don't know. But after skimming through it, it's not as bad, you know. But I'm definitely going to probably do the audio for this book only because for this next book, I'm trying to fit into my schedule, I guess. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So this one is going to be on a follow along with my audiobook to this because I had it in hold on my Libby app and it should be ready this week. So yes, very excited for that. Now this last book, like I said, I'm trying to carve time for it because it is a bit on the thicker side. However, if I do not get to it, I'm not really mad. I still am going to have 3 great books to read and keep me entertained for this vlog and you entertained as well, but that is going to be Callie Hart's Brimstone. Listen, I have Dory memory. So I read Quicksilver a few weeks ago, and it's still fresh in my fat head. I'm not even gonna lie, not all of it, because I'm already forgetting some stuff. But while I still remember the biggest major parts of Quicksilver, I need to read Brimstone because I'm gonna have to do a reread of Quicksilver to read Brimstone. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to do that because I don't like to reread books unless it's Wuthering Heights or the XX. But yes, this is going to be one I'm very excited for. Again, if I don't make it to Brimstone, I'm not really upset. I'll just keep moving it down the TBR until I carve out time. During this vlog, I'm hoping to maybe do a lot of book shopping since I haven't really done that in a few weeks. What else do I want to do? I kind of want to get back into running a little bit, maybe like move a little more than I do. I don't know. And of course, catch up on my reading journal, my actual journal, just all the good stuff. But without further ado, I hope you enjoy the vlog. I hope it's fun. I hope all the good things. But I will check in with you next time I have a reading update for you all. has been a minute. It's been a minute, y'all. I have come with reading updates. I think I filmed 2 clips or just 1 clip, and then I just never filmed anything. 4 out of 5 stars. I think that the writing was so good, by the way. Like, um, I do want to read this a second time and then annotate it because, girl, mm. And I think one of my favorite parts in the book was like before beginning a new chapter, you have a note. If I could just engrave those in my brain for the rest of my life and never forget any of them, let me tell you, I would. It was so good. I don't think I've ever really ventured into a world like this, and like I did, previously say, I don't really gravitate toward night main characters, females at that. But let me just say, I was obsessed. I loved it. It was everything I needed and more at that time. So I am starting to read back into my fantasy genre, and man, we have some winners. We definitely have some winners. Yeah, for the rest of the afternoon, I'm gonna end up going on a walkie, and I'm gonna come home, shower, eat dinner, get cozy, and start the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And I will check in with you guys a little bit later. I know I didn't really have a lot to say, but this is a book, one of those books where I just, after I read it, my brain was like, whoop. I spaced out for like after it, and I couldn't tell you what it's about. But it was good, let me tell you, because I had the best time of my life reading this book right here. Please tell me I I'm not the only person that happens to, because if not, I will be needing to make a doctor's appointment. Good morning, everyone. It is actually now the next day, and I do have a reading update for you. So let's go ahead and talk about The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. I did end up reading yesterday, but it was not even in the afternoon because I did end up going on the walk that I was talking about, and then I just got distracted doing other things. So I actually started reading it around, I think, 10 p.m. and I needed sleep, okay? So I figured read half of it because I was almost halfway by the time I realized what time it was. So I was going to read half of it last night and then read the second half today. I didn't know what time, but I have had quite the most beautiful, picturesque reader's morning. I had made my coffee, finished my coffee. Here are my thoughts. I genuinely think, let's talk about it, and you know what? That you either agree or don't, and it's fine. It is what it is. Listen, I love the Dream Harbor series, and I was avoiding it because I kept seeing it everywhere for a minute, and I was like, oh no. I was low key judging it, and I was like, oh, that's not for me, blah, blah, blah. Well, girl, you were missing out because it is for me, and I love it, and I am enthralled by this tiny little town. I don't know why I wouldn't like it if it gives literally Gilmore Girls vibe, and it's like I watch that every night to go to sleep. So, girl, what are you talking about? I didn't have necessarily the biggest, strongest connection to both Jeannie and Logan. And with that being said, I still genuinely wanted to see this play out, and I thought it was so cozy. If you didn't know, which I probably all the last person on this universe did not read this, but it's the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, the Christmas Tree Farm, um, the Pancake House, something like that. And then we have the Gingerbread Bakery, and then now May of this year, the Daisy Chain Flower Shop is going to release. But I'm not reading it in publication order because I only had the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by the time that I picked up the series. I didn't even have this one, and I didn't have any other ones, right? I do genuinely like it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I will say, after reading The Christmas Tree Farm, I think it's me. It has nothing to do with the series, but I, in December, was looking for just literally on theme books because you know how I'm like, oh, fall, spooky for Halloween type of reads. I wanted to do that for the December month, so I was stuck to romance because for me it produces a lot of like cozy, nostalgic, warm, light vibes, and that's what I was going for in romance. Definitely always get, well, not always, but it does give me that, and this is genuinely the best series if you're looking for that, or if you're just looking to slow down after having your brain fried by fantasy, because I feel like that happens to me a lot. With that being said, I also read Good Spirits by BK Borison, and I was so excited for that book, and then of course the Christmas Tree Farm, and I just didn't really kind of care for them. And I don't think it's the story, and it's not the author, and it's not the writing. It's me, because I already was kind of being a Grinch about Christmas last year. I was like, I'm over this. Like, bring back October. And I was just so salty that the fall was coming to an end and that I would have to wait another 365 days for this time of year to come. And I just couldn't bring myself to care. And still, I'm kind of being salty about it now. So I figured before the month is over, this has to be read. And genuinely, this one and then the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, I genuinely love those because of the fall picturesque like vibe to it. And I think that's why like the Christmas ones, they're good, don't get me wrong, I still genuinely enjoyed them, but it was not too much to where I was like, I will be rereading this. But yes, I did really enjoy it. 4.5 out of 5. Okay, so hi everyone. This is going to be the wrap up for the reading vlog. I kind of had this vlog a little bit all over the place because I just had just some things that I wasn't very organized about, I guess, and it did hurt in the long run, but I mean, I still want to upload content for you guys, so hopefully it's something that you enjoyed to watch. So let's go ahead and wrap up since it's February 1st today. Why not throw in my what January wrap ups for that what I read and such. First things first, pad right here, but I just wanted to share the 8 books I was able to read for this first month of 2026. First is Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Batsterica. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Listen, I do remember that gave me this book scared me, spooked me. But all in all, it was tremendous. It was fun to it was enjoyable. It was just very dark. It was very eye-opening, very informative, and very not easy to swallow, which I feel like it kind of broadened up my horizons in terms of books that I like to read, because it all can't be rainbows and sunshines all the time. Like, we obviously all need to be educated, so I feel like this is one of those books, especially during this time, where this should be read. I did give that 4 out of 5 stars. Moving on to Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. I did end up giving Quicksilver a 5 out of 5 stars or 6 out of 5 stars because of Kingfisher. Now, I know that some people necessarily did not get the connection with the characters, but you know what? I genuinely did, and I think that it's a yes. Like, you do need to read this, and I'm very stoked. Hopefully, I get to read Brimstone sometime during February. Book 3, 5 out of 5 stars. The Wolf King by Lauren P, because I still cannot pronounce her last name. Um Now this is a trilogy. It's going to be The Wolf King, The Night Prince, and then book 3, I think the title is announced, but I just don't remember it at the moment. I'll put it up here if I do end up finding it. But it was such a fun time, and it was my first buddy read with Alexandra, so I genuinely did enjoy the book. Book 4 on the list is Alexander Moody's Rival Darling. This is the Darling Devil series. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I don't necessarily know if you have to read it in order, but this is basically what is it? The three Darling brothers, and it goes from Grayson Darling, Reed Darling, and Parker Darling, which is the youngest. And I think Parker's book is going to be released this year. I still need to read Grayson's, but man, it was so cute. I did love it. It's a YA romance book, so just know that when you're reading it. But it was such a fun time. It was such a quick, cute read. It was just like 374 pages. Book 5 we have on here is R.F. Kuang's Catabasis. I did give this a 2.5 out of 5 stars because I don't necessarily believe that the hype about R.F. Kuang, there is no way that this is her best right. And I know that when this book released, it was like two ends of the stick. Either you love this book and this is the book you need to read to get into R.F. Kuang, or there was another half of the audience who just don't believe that this was her stronger book. However, my brother did also read Babel by R.F. Kuang, and he believes that it is better than Catabasis. So, this is not going to be the last time I'm reading R.F. Kuang. I am determined to find my favorite R.F. Kuang, right? Hopefully this year. So maybe Babel might be next because that's the one I already have in my hands. Book number 6 is actually a Carissa Broadbent book, and that's going to be The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. This is Crowns of Nyaxa number 2. This is the second book to the duet of the Nightborn. Now, as we know, the two next book, which is The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, and The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk is the Shadowborn duet. And I think that focuses on Misha and another male main character that I can't remember. But because I was under the impression that all four books were about Uriah and Rain, but I guess they're not. I just recently found this out. I thought it was just like a four book series, but no, it's a duet. I did end up giving this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Did genuinely enjoy it. I think that, we get a little more world building, character building, and there is a little bit more of complex emotions thrown into the world out here, I guess. With that being said, the first book, which is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, is still my reigning favorite out of the whole series. But I've only read two, so what do I know, right? All right, book seven. That is actually a new author for me, as well as R.F. Kuang. She was new. Well, half of these are new, honestly. Second Death of Locke. I did give this 4 out of 5 stars. This book was enjoyable for me, and I genuinely did like that before each chapter you did get a note. And I feel like these are quite more quite possibly half of them I need tattooed on me, like right here right now. I love them, and I genuinely had such a fun time reading it. If you do read it, or if you've already read it, I love listening to the audio of this. I think it made it so much more immersive that way, but to each its own. I just genuinely did have a fun time with this book. Now, the last book on the list that we have here is a Laurie Gilmore book. This is the book one on the Dream Harbor series, and that's going to be The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Now, this book was following Jeannie and Logan's relationship. I did like it, but I didn't feel as strong as a connection to this couple as I did in book two with Hazel and Noah. With that being said, it still gives you all like the nostalgic fall cozy vibes that you're looking for. This book earned a, what was it? 4.5 out of 5 stars from me. I genuinely again did have a great time, but when it comes to this series, I did not necessarily pick it up because it's a love story you've never heard in your whole entire existence before. It's kind of like a series that provides quite a lot of nostalgia, and I think that for how long the books are and how cute and cozy the series is, that's technically the whole point, in my opinion. But and it's also fun because it kind of stops you from getting those reader slumps that, of course, not all the time it's going to prevent, but it's genuinely a fun series. I think I just ended up getting in quite a bit of a reading slump, or I wouldn't even necessarily call it a slump. I think what ends up happening is that I read so much and I'm not really used to reading this much. I haven't read it in the last 3 months of last year. So, what's happening is that I just got so excited. I read so much and I wanted to take this week off, I guess, from the book stuff and do some personal stuff at home and have more time for my other hobbies this last week. But we're back to our regular scheduled programming, and starting next vlog, it is going to be a little more cohesive in terms of sticking to a TBR at least. But yes, with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sitting with me, listening to this, and I will see you guys in the next one.